your local news leader at 5.
Coming up tonight, a final goodbye for the small-town mayor who suddenly passed away last week. Martinsburg, West Virginia, saying farewell today. We were at that ceremony. We've also got an update on the city's new task at hand, filling her position.
And also on our newscast tonight, one hospital is taking the medical experience to a whole new different level with their new virtual reality theater. How it's helping doctors spot things they might not have seen before.
And later on, stepping up and giving back, the community volunteer that's continuing to spread love and inspiration one hot dog at a time.
I'm Lou Scally, live in your local Ford Weather Center. We had a lovely day today. I'll have your 7-day forecast coming up in minutes. WDVM Live at 5 starts right now.
Good evening. We are following some breaking news at the top of this hour. Fire and EMS in Washington, D.C. is reporting what they're calling a mass casualty event after a Metro bus crash.
Yeah, let's get right out to the scene on this one. Joining us live right now is Cheyenne Corinne. Cheyenne, have you been able to speak with authorities? I know you just got there. Have you been able to speak with authorities and get an update for us?
What I know as of now is that 13 people have been injured in this Metro bus crash. And actually, I did get to speak with someone off camera who gave us a quick briefing of the condition of those people who were on this bus when it happened. As of now, what we know is that there are 13 patients. 2 of those is in critical condition. 3 people are in serious condition, but with non-life-threatening injuries. And 7 people's injuries are not serious or life-threatening, and 1 patient also refused to be helped. And as you can see behind me, I'm going to step out of my way. This is the bus right here that crashed. And like I said, we still do not know exactly the reason as to what caused this bus crash, but there are 13 people who have been injured, and we're going to make sure that we keep you updated as more developments happen and as we learn more. As of right now, there's still some information we're waiting to learn because of HIPAA laws. We can't learn the exact condition, especially of the driver that we're especially concerned about. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you two. Reporting in Washington, D.C., I'm Cheyenne Corinne for WDVM 25.
Cheyenne Corinne on that developing news for us out of Washington, D.C. Thank you. Now, it is important. I read a tweet today by the D.C. Fire and EMS. Somebody had replied talking about mass casualty. They use the word mass casualty to mean not just to refer to deaths, but also to injuries. We will, of course, keep you updated at localdvm.com on this story. Hopefully, we'll have an update during our 6 p.m. newscast. We're going to get some other stuff now. Every night so far this week, we have come on the air and started off by reporting on the wave of summer crime that spans across the region. That wave continues tonight.
Yeah, it's affecting local businesses, and we're actually learning from police in Northern Virginia tonight that the Arlington Forest Shopping Center is dealing with another round of robberies and destruction. So Arlington County Police tell WDVM 25 that they're investigating 2 overnight burglaries, one that affected a pizza restaurant and another affecting a salon. Police sent a statement to our newsroom earlier today about that pizza restaurant. They said this: unknown suspects broke the glass door to a business with a rock, then went inside and stole a cash register. The door to a second business was damaged, but no entry was made and nothing was reported stolen.
Tonight there is a tale of 2 different COVID stories in America, and it deals with the divide between those who are vaccinated and those who are unvaccinated. Hospitals in more than half of the country are reopening their COVID wards, some even seeing more intense situations than the pandemic peak that we saw over this past winter. But one thing is clear to the doctors that are treating these new patients: those who are being rushed in for treatment are almost always unvaccinated. Jay Gray has our coronavirus update tonight.
There's a dangerous, in some cases deadly, trend developing across the country, fueled by the highly contagious Delta strain. COVID infections and hospitalizations are exploding right now.
I don't know how we'll handle it, but we're going to do everything we can to try to handle that volume of patients.
With doctors warning, this may just be the beginning.
The Delta variant is going to move its way through the country over the course of August and September, maybe into October. Unfortunately, the worst is yet to come.
According to the CDC, the most serious cases and a majority of new COVID deaths are among unvaccinated patients. The agency pointing out the pace of Americans getting fully vaccinated has dropped by more than 80% since April. Children are especially vulnerable to the Delta variant because at this point, only about 1/3 of the 25 million kids eligible for a shot have been fully vaccinated.
As we know that a number of the both hospitalizations and the deaths we're seeing are preventable.
The rise in cases leaving facilities and a number of hotspots short on beds and staff.
It is more likely to make you sick than other strains. And so, yes, we have seen that, and Delta's just more rapid because it's more efficient at transmitting.
A fast pace that in some hospitals could, by the end of the month, set a dubious record for the number of COVID patients since the start of the pandemic.
So the question is, even with this surge in COVID-19 cases across the country, are the current vaccines that are available to us strong enough to fend off any of these new COVID threats, including the Delta variant? WDVM's Elise Kim spoke with the co-lead of the vaccine unit at the Virginia Department of Health to get to the bottom of it for us.
The Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are all proving to prevent severe illnesses from COVID-19 and protect from mutations like the Delta variant. Marshall Vogt, the division epidemiologist and co-lead of the vaccine unit for the Virginia Department of Health, tells me what they know so far about the vaccine data.
It looks like these vaccines are effective, and I'll say particularly against severe illness. It's the hospitalizations, the really severe illness, and the excess mortality from COVID-19 that we really want to prevent.
And when it comes down to natural immunity versus vaccine protection, he says,
we're still learning more about the protection that comes with natural immunity versus the protection that comes with vaccines, although there have been studies done that indicate that you might actually have better immunity if you are vaccinated versus what you get from natural immunity.
Every time a virus multiplies, there's a chance for a mistake in the copy of genetic material, creating what we know as a variant of the virus.
And that's where we're seeing some of these differences in different variations, different mutations of the virus, like the Delta variant, that make it more infectious or more easy to spread to other people.
Which is why stopping the spread and getting your vaccine can prevent further variants down the road. Fairfax County is at 75.5% of adults with at least one vaccine, but Chairman Jeffrey McKay says they're still looking at ways to improve the county's COVID response. He says in a statement, "We did a lot of good work this past year, but there are always things we can learn from and improve upon. A comprehensive review will help us evaluate how we did and how we can do better in the next emergency situation." Just for a quick vaccine analysis, Vogt says experts are happy if the flu vaccine we get every year is 40 to 50% effective. In comparison, the vaccines we have on the market for COVID-19 are 70 to 95% effective against the virus. Reporting in Northern Virginia, I'm Elise Kim with WDVM 25.
Elise, thank you. Now some context for you. The CDC shows that 57% of new cases in this country are attributed to the Delta variant.
And funeral services were held today for Martinsburg Mayor Harriet Johnson, who died suddenly from a medical emergency last week. She was 72 years old. Now, Johnson was the first female mayor in the city's 243-year history. Elected just last year, we first told you all about it. So Johnson was a graduate of Martinsburg High School. She served on city council for 4 years. She also chaired the city's housing authority and was an enthusiastic leader for progress in the Berkeley County seat. Friends at her memorial reflected fondly on her legacy to the community she loved.
Born and raised here, that took deep, that's roots here within this city, and took great pride in everything she did, every person she touched in this community.
And our thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, and colleagues. The City Council is collecting letters of interest from registered Martinsburg voters with a year of residency to choose the mayor's successor in the future.
All right, here's what else we're going to be talking about tonight on WDVM Live at 5. Residents in Northern Virginia have a reason to raise their glasses after a newly approved law. Howard is keeping around something that most of us actually liked about last year.
Patients at Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute now have a new way to look at their brain and spine. MRI and CT scans. We'll tell you how it works coming up.
And it's going to continue to be warm for the next several days. I'll have your 7-day forecast, including a sneak peek at the weekend. And Joseph will whistle a happy tune. All next on WDVM, your local weather leader. Stay with us.
Coming up tonight, summer travel ramping up, and the backed up traffic that we all experience in the DMV might be here to stay.
Yeah, major plans to ease the congestion fell through today. Our traffic reporter has an update for us and what the road ahead looks like to change the Capital Beltway.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office is warning residents about a new scam that's going around the county. We'll tell you about what the scammers are demanding and how to keep you and your family safe.
Tomorrow is Juneteenth. I'll tell you how the last enslaved people in southern states achieved freedom years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
I'm Lou Scally in your local Ford Weather Center. A lot of celebrations for Juneteenth and Father's Day this weekend. I'll have your forecast coming up. WDVM News at 6 starts right now.
Good Friday evening. Thank you so much for starting your weekend off with us. And 148 million Americans are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19 with just over 2 weeks away until July 4th. President Biden still has his eyes set on that ambitious goal of getting 70% of the country with at least one dose by the time we're lighting up fireworks.
Yeah, this means Vice President Harris was on the road today, bringing the vaccine message to Atlanta, Georgia, and encouraging everyone who has not gotten their vaccine to roll up their sleeves and get one. Joining us live right now is our Washington correspondent, Rashad Hudson. Hey, Rashad, good evening.
Good evening, Joseph. President Biden and Vice President Harris, as you mentioned, spent the day encouraging Americans to get vaccinated. This as the administration works to get more shots and arms. President Joe Biden says the U.S. has administered 300 million COVID-19 vaccine shots in 150 days.
We got here because of the American people stepping up and getting vaccinated.
So far, 65% of adults in the U.S. have gotten at least one shot, and some states have already surpassed 70%.
But unfortunately, cases and hospitalizations are not going down in many places in the lower vaccination rate states.
The president urged unvaccinated Americans to get vaccinated quickly or risk infection from the more dangerous Delta variant of the virus.
It's a variant that is more easily transmissible, potentially deadlier, and particularly dangerous for young people.
While the president spoke at the White House, Vice President Kamala Harris took the administration's message on the road to Atlanta as COVID-19 vaccination rates continue to decline across the South.
Let's arm ourselves with the truth to arm them with the truth.
The Biden administration is concerned that vaccination rates have lagged in minority communities.
Getting vaccinated is about building the power of community. Getting vaccinated is about building the power of our country.
The White House is pushing incentives as part of the effort, including tax breaks for businesses that give their employees time off and free child care for parents while they receive their shots. Now, the White House says this month pharmacies across the country are going to keep their doors open for 24 hours on Fridays to make it easier for people to get the shot. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Yeah, 6 months into the Vaccinate America campaign, and still the roll up your sleeve message is still just as important today as it was 6 months ago. Rashad Hudson there reporting in Washington, D.C. for us. Thank you. Well, we are learning more about a new investigation that was opened up early this morning after a dog was found shot and killed near a Pepsi facility in Cheverly, Maryland. Prince George's County Animal Services confirming that they have taken over the investigation. Somebody had seen the dog and called police. That's about as much as we know right now. You can head to localdvm.com. We're also going to give you updates on air as more information comes in.
And Frederick residents should pay extra attention to this next story. Over the last month, the Frederick County Sheriff's Office had received a number of calls about a scam that has already put one resident out of $12,000. WDVM's Katie Reese spoke with Frederick County Sheriff Chuck Jenkins and has a story for us.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office is warning residents to always verify who's calling them after a number of residents have fallen victim to a scam where the caller demands money for an outstanding warrant. Since the start of June, the Frederick County Sheriff's Office has received around 100 reports of scam callers impersonating a sheriff's officer who then demands money from residents, telling them they or a member of their family has an outstanding warrant and must pay the money immediately, usually in the form of gift cards or green dot cards. The callers are using phone numbers registered to Frederick County and then giving the person the Frederick County Sheriff's Office mainline number. The scammer will tell the victim if they do not pay, a deputy or police officer will go to their residence and arrest them immediately.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office does not call an individual to notify them of an arrest warrant. We send a deputy or deputies to that individual's home or place of work, either in uniform or with identification and a badge, to execute a copy of that. We have a copy of the warrant in hand and we execute the arrest right there.
Anyone who's received one of these calls should immediately contact the Frederick County Sheriff's Office or Maryland State Police. Reporting in Frederick, Maryland, I'm Katie Reed, WDVM 25.
And residents are reminded to never give any personal information over the phone and numbers to contact or any contact information over the phone to the Maryland State Police. We've got some more resources on our website at localdvm.com.
Well, a plan that would have potentially eased the oftentimes congested traffic on the Capitol Beltway has been rejected. Our traffic reporter Shanika Grimshaw tells us why it was rejected and what might be the path forward to making that rush hour traffic just a little bit less stressful.
An environmental impact study could cause a roadblock in plans to widen one of the busiest beltways in our region.
The National Capital Region Transportation Planning Board voted to remove the state's proposed I-270 I-495 Express toll lanes project from their air quality analysis. In order to move forward with any construction project, it has to meet federal air quality standards. The vote comes after leaders across Maryland rallied last week against reconstruction on the American Legion Bridge and adding toll lanes to 270.
We need to continue to push for meaningful transit, which will also include rail options and BRT. I believe the state's decision is fiscally irresponsible. It defies common sense and it's environmentally destructive.
Now, some believe the focus should be on mass transportation and adding reversible lanes to help with traffic. Reporting in Silver Spring, Shanika Grimshaw, WDVM 25.
Not a bad day today. Plenty of sunshine. A few clouds here late this afternoon, but on balance, a nice day. Right now it's 83 at Germantown, 84 D.C. Reagan. College Park checking in with 84. 84 Chantilly, Manassas, 85 at Culpeper. Fredericktown at 82. 82 Charlestown and Leesburg. 80 at Martinsburg. 81 Winchester. Hagerstown at 83, 82 Cumberland, and 81 at Kaiser, 86 at Petersburg. Everybody had fairly quiet weather today, no rain on the radar. We are anticipating that we'll see some rain in here after midnight tonight. And again, over the weekend, not a total washout, but you'll have several opportunities for pop-up showers, mainly in the afternoon, so stay alert to that possibility. Your weekend numbers look like this: isolated thunderstorms, daytime high 84, still quite a bit of sunshine. And for Father's Day Sunday, look for a chance of showers high near 90. Again, most of those showers will be either early morning or late in the afternoon. And let's take a look at our forecast now. Let's take a look at the forecast right now. Here it is. For the overnight, it is going to be mostly cloudy. Possible showers after midnight. Low tonight about 67. For tomorrow, high gets up to 87. Noticeably more humid. And the chances of thunderstorms will be with us, especially in the afternoon. I'll be back with that 7-day forecast for Father's Day coming up on WDVM, your local weather leader.
Looking forward to it. All right, thank you, Lou. Let's take a look at what else is next on WDVM News at 6.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a new program that opens up the conversation between community and law enforcement.
It's a change of command that's making history. Coming up, we'll explore who's the next head of USAMRIID.
President Joe Biden this afternoon made his first address after tens of thousands of Americans and Afghans were airlifted to the United States in the final days of a decades-long war, reaffirming his commitment to get remaining Americans out of Taliban-controlled Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, the official mission is over, but the number of unanswered questions tonight is mounting. How will the remaining Americans stranded in Afghanistan get home safely? What about those who teamed up with American soldiers during this war? And joining us live right now to answer some of those questions is our Washington correspondent, Jesse Tenor. Jesse, I know you listened to the president's speech earlier today. What was the big headliner from it?
Yeah, good evening, Joseph and Randy. President Biden really continued to reiterate that among all of the criticism and a lot of those questions that you just raised, that he had unanimous support from his top military commanders, both there on the ground and back here at home, to stick to this August 31st deadline. But GOP lawmakers are making it very clear today that this is only the beginning of their efforts to get to the bottom of the withdrawal.
It was designed to save American lives.
President Joe Biden defends his August 31st deadline for leaving Afghanistan,
I was not going to extend this forever war.
while acknowledging the final days cost 13 American service members their lives.
We owe them and their families a debt of gratitude we can never repay, but we should never, ever, ever forget.
President Biden stresses their sacrifices helped evacuate more than 120,000 people from the Kabul airport, including about 6,000 Americans.
The bottom line, 90% of Americans in Afghanistan who wanted to leave were able to leave.
But Republicans, like Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford, want to know exactly how many are still there.
Simple math would dictate that there's still several hundred, if not thousands, left behind, and that's just unacceptable.
And Tennessee Congressman Mark Green, who served in Afghanistan, says leaving like this sends the wrong message to the rest of the world.
You sure as heck can't abandon Americans in a war zone and expect our enemies to respect us.
That's why many, like Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville, are pressing the administration to answer questions.
Find out why in the world we did it the way we did it.
And others, including Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins, are calling on President Biden to resign.
We expect performance, and performance right now for President Biden calls for him to step down.
And we recently learned a bipartisan group of lawmakers is traveling to the Middle East tomorrow to visit refugee camps there. Live in Washington, I'm Jessie Tenor.
Jessie, we've heard so much in the last several days and weeks from our lawmakers in Congress. What can we expect from them in the weeks and months ahead?
Yeah, a lot of committees here have already promised to hold public hearings on the months leading up to the withdrawal. And one of the biggest questions that Democrats and Republicans both have is why the evacuations didn't start sooner.
All right, Jessie Turner reporting there live in Washington, D.C. for us. Thank you so much, Jessie. Just one of our several D.C. correspondents. You can head to localdvm.com, hit that D.C. button for around-the-clock updates of what's happening in our nation's capital. Here's what else we're going to be talking about tonight on WDVM News at 6. What if you didn't have to go to the DMV to update your license? We will tell you about the event that is happening next month that is taking the DMV on the go.
And as Montgomery County students return to the classroom, we'll tell you how a new kind of staff member will be keeping an eye on students' mental and emotional health. Stick around.